You know, if I had the power to predict the future, I would have been able to predict who was going to win the Super Bowl this year. Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to my TV at the Moment series. So today's TV series I'll be talking about today is Season 1 of October Faction. And before I get into my thoughts about this season, here are a few words from the channel. Hey guys, if you want to check out more content from this channel, then tune in every Sunday and Monday for new videos. And if you happen to see any videos posted up during the week, that means that there was a bit of movie and TV news that I wanted to talk about, so those will be considered special videos. And if you want to chat with me on social media or see when new videos are being released, then follow me through Twitter and Facebook. And also, please feel free to join the new Facebook group, Rabbitearsblog Reviews 2.0, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and video games with other fans of the genres. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program. So, October Faction is a new series that aired on Netflix, and it was based off a comic book series written by Steve Niles. And basically what the series is about the family called the Allen family, who are actually a family of monster hunters, or at least the parents, Fred and Dolores, are monster hunters, while their kids are unaware of what their parents are actually doing during the day. Meanwhile, the show explores about how Viv and Jeff, the two kids of Fred and Dolores, are trying to experience their powers, or at least are just discovering their powers, and they're having trouble trying to control their powers while at school, which causes them to be relentlessly bullied at school. Meanwhile, Eva Warlock ends up being released because of what Viv did at a ceremony, and now the Warlock has gone out and is trying to hurt the Allen family. So, when I found out that this series was actually based off a comic book series, I was a little shocked because I didn't even know this series was based off a comic book series until like just now. But it was interesting that Netflix was able to get another series that was based off a comic book series onto their roster. And I may or may not decide to read the comic book series after watching this show. Now, as for the season itself, there were some good points and some bad points, and I'm going to point those out in a few minutes. So let's start with the good points about the show. First of all, I did like the supernatural elements in this show. I did love the fact that the Allen children, Viv and Jeff, both have powers, and how they're both struggling in trying to find out their powers and trying to figure out how to control their powers while they're still being bullied at school. Because it's interesting that you have a series where the parents don't have powers, but the kids do, and you wonder how the parents are able to deal with their kids having powers while dealing with the controversies that's going on with the kids throughout school because of their powers. I was also interested in the fact that the Allen family were a pair of monster hunters, at least the parents are. I did like the interactions between Fred and Dolores and how they kind of talk about fighting monsters as being a part of their everyday lives while they're still contemplating about whether or not they should tell the kids that they're actually monster hunters. And that's an aspect of the characters that I really did enjoy, is that the fact that they are trying to be good parents to Viv and Jeff, but at the same time, and they were like, well, we didn't want to expose our kids to this lifestyle that we have, and we want to give them a normal life, so that's why we didn't tell our kids that we're actually monster hunters. And then I really liked some of the special effects that was going into this season, like the explosions and how the kids were using their powers and you see everything glowing around them. I really enjoy seeing those special effects, and I hope we get to see more of that in the future of the show. Now, let's talk about the negatives of the show. First of all, it seems like this season was trying to fit in so many things into one season, but it had no idea how to structure each plot line with the season. Like, for example, you have so many storylines going on about whether or not the Allen parents should tell their kids that they're actually monster hunters, or how Jeff and Viv are trying to deal with their powers in school while being bullied at school at the same time, or about this evil warlock that's after the Allen family. And you have all this going on in one season, and it's like getting really confusing to keep up with what's going on in the storyline. That I'm like, well, what's the main storyline? What's really going on this season? Like, should we be focusing on the Allen parents themselves? Should we be focusing on Jeff and Viv? Or should we be focusing on the big bad of the season? It like got so confusing after a while. I was like, well, I couldn't really get into the show fully because I don't know what's really going on, and I don't know what storylines we're supposed to be focused on. And another problem that I had with the show was that I felt like the characters were either unlikable or very flat. Like, we don't know much about these characters, and it seems like the show was trying to explore these characters, but they did it in such a way that's so confusing that I just didn't really care about any of the characters at all. And then I found most of the characters acting like jerks most of the time, maybe except for the Allen parents to some degree, but I didn't really like any of the characters because they were all acting so moody, and I didn't really like that aspect of any of the characters. And then the people that the Allen twins have to deal with are like big bullies, so I definitely didn't like the bullies in the show, and that's the point. We're not supposed to like bullies. But the way they portray these characters, it didn't make me like any one of these characters. It didn't make me like the antagonist. It didn't make me like the protagonist because everybody was acting so moody, and then they didn't really develop any of these characters so well, so I couldn't really get into the show fully because of these characters. So overall, I'm going to rate October Faction Season 1 a skim it. So basically, the show is okay to me. Like, I don't think it was completely bad. There were some good things about the show. Like, I like the supernatural elements, and I did like the fact that the Allen parents were monster hunters, and I like to see how the show was going to deal with that. But I felt like the characters were so flat and unlikable that I just couldn't get into the show. And then I was really confused about how they were plotting the show. Like, there were so many things going on this one season that I couldn't keep up with any of the plot lines, and I wasn't sure about which character we're really supposed to be focusing on. Are we supposed to be focusing on the Allen parents? Are we supposed to be focusing on the Allen kids, Viv and Jeff? Are we supposed to be focusing on the big bad this season? I don't know, because it seems like the show has no idea which characters we're supposed to be focused on. So yeah, I think that this show is worth the watch in a way, but I say skim it because there's like so many things going on this season, and maybe if the show had a better way of structuring all their plot lines in the second season, I might be more interested in checking out what the show has to offer in the second season. And I just hope that the show develop the characters a little better and actually structure out the plot lines a lot better in the second season. So tell me in the comments down below, have you seen October Faction Season 1? And if you have, did you like the show? Did you hate the show? And what are some of your favorite supernatural TV shows? Please feel free to comment below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you guys later.